And we are live. Here is. Hi. This is something that animators use at the Pepeland Animation School in order to practice animation without doing facial expressions. So they emphasize on their movements. So with that little bit of literature, it's actually very, very smart. Welcome to the last, but not the least, episode of Blender Today Live. We are here now in Amsterdam. It's 9 p.m. Give me a thumbs up if everything is okay with the sounds. Yes, with the sound and video. Okay, yeah, if you heard the story about the... Yes, okay, yes. It's the day, or is it? It's the title of this video is very clickbaity. It says beta, and the description says, are we there yet? And we've always been there. No, I don't. Now is when the downvotes go to the video. Wait here for a moment. What I mean is that the beta is nothing but just a little label that appears here next to the name. A beta is an ongoing process. It's going to be happening for now. It's going to be happening maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after the official release, but it's the same. There won't be a number that you say here, download the beta. It will be the same website that you're downloading the alpha 2 now is going to be exactly the same with just a few other things. So the beta is always amongst us. Of course, for 98% of the people doesn't mean anything, but it means though for people that are writing documentations, books, all kinds of documentation, of everything. So yes, we are going to talk about it. There are so many things though. It's just crazy. Local view is here. That's just to give you an idea. Just before you start jumping to the end of the video, if you're not watching this live, local view. Right click and left click selections, nice defaults for that. Their curvature, yes, this feature that it enhances all your details on your mesh for good and for bad as well. Then it's here. It made it to the beta. There is a new user preferences settings. There is the new themes. There are new shortcuts that are appearing and so many things. We're going to talk about it in a bit. So yes, feature complete? No feature complete. Let's see. When can we start reporting bugs? Yeah, that's a big thing about the beta. That's what it starts. So beta, it doesn't have a date yet, as in not today, because it's Monday. Who would release on a Monday with so many things going on, right? Yesterday also there was people saying, is it coming out today, Sunday, or is it not? How can it come out? It's a professional software with people working regular days, even though they work at evenings and weekends as well. It's more likely, if I don't have to say a day, I would think it would be Wednesday. I hope, because that will give me time to do this kind of things, like choose a splash screen. We still haven't decided yet. The release notes on blender.org, the renaming of some of the features. This is something that it's special, because it not always you can't always do these changes. For example, well, let's open Blender. Let's jump right into it. I'm gonna go through the news later. There is a new things on the Blender Cloud as well that I want to show, but let's get to it. So this is Blender as you download it. It's 2.80 called Blender Today. This is the trolling part. Sorry guys, I hope I'm not trolling you too bad. So this is how it looks right now when you download it. So you have the files, you have the recent files, but my favorite thing is that now when you open Blender, you can immediately box select. Wait, I'm here. You can immediately draw a box and start selecting objects, just like a real regular software. Isn't that amazing? So with right click, you select for the time being, and then you draw a box, and then you click to set the 3D cursor. So that hasn't changed. It's an improvement. And wait, there is more. How do you deselect things? Yeah, double A, or click in the nothingness. Click where there's no objects, and finally this feature made it to Blender. So it was possible before by changing the key maps a little bit, but now it's done properly by the developers. So yes, select, box select, set the 3D cursor with left click, for right click select by default, and click anywhere to deselect. It's amazing, such a small thing. So these are the kind of things. For example, this morning at lunch, by default, it was in the select tool, which allows you to select, yeah, but that's it. Like, it doesn't allow you to do box select, for example. After discussing that a bit during lunch, we agreed on having the box select by default. So that is great. So for example, these are the little things. Another thing, remember the amazing Workbench engine. Well, this is just a name. This is just something that it's aesthetics. It used to be called OpenGL render, OpenGL. But what happens when we have Vulkan? What happens when we do other kind of rendering? Well, now it's called Workbench back, because it used to be before. So yeah, I know the NASA is landing a rocket in Mars. A rocket, no, a lander in Mars. But isn't it 2.8 meter than Mars and space exploration? No, of course not. Well, another thing that showed up this week is local view. Finally, this feature that it was, I think at some point I mentioned that it might be back in 281, so not now, but in the future. By the way, I haven't made the Blender today, sorry. I haven't made the Blender today live stream announcement yet. No, I didn't do it. So let's do it live, so you can ask the questions there. Go to Blender today after you log in. Of course, if you can log in, go to blender.today, and I'm gonna leave the thing, the thread here, so you can make it. You can leave your questions there. So local view was one of those features that it was going to be moved maybe towards the end of the beta, or to the more here. I leave it, so in a minute it's gonna show up. But local view was a lot of work to make it work. But our nice friend, the live Alinto, live from Brazil, he brought it back. So basically now when you have object selected, you can press slash and it goes and it selects your object. So it's a combination of all the modes. It isolates all the view from all the for this viewport, for all the objects for this viewport. Also, it centers the view, and it will also, a difference from what I usually did in 2.7, if you have, for example, a few objects and you go to local view and you render this or you preview this, you will see that the light is still affecting these objects, even though the light is not part of the selection that I did. So there is a hack to make this work. And this is a hack, actually. In 2.4, it was different. And in 2.5, I remember asking the developers, hey, what if there will always be the lights? And I think it's good. The hack is handy, but it's also a bit confusing because you don't know exactly which lamps how to make the lamp work when it's not part of the local view. So in 2.8, for the time being, as of today, I can get used to the new shortcut for render view, by the way. I'm going to explain this in a bit. So the lamp, for example, is not part of my selection, so it's not part of my local view. So if I were to just go back, then I will see it. So in order for the lamp to be part of my local view, I have to select it and then go in. But I think I like this more now because it's more consistent. It only takes the lamps that you select. So remember, that's the difference with 2.7, is that now you have to select the lamps that you want to make part of the local view. So it's there, it's back, go play with it. It's the same shortcut as in 2.7, that hasn't changed. So yes, pretty exciting. More updates. So the pie menu is new. I'm gonna show it now in the user preferences, which also changed. Yes, things keep changing, but for good, because hold on to your hat. user preferences is now called settings, because settings, user preference is like one part of the settings, right? The system settings, for example, are part, or the workspaces are not all user preferences, are like system preferences. So that way you can split things better. So this is how the new user preferences looks as of today, because this is Blender today, and as far as I know, there has been a few commits, but ignore that. I compiled this 2 minutes before we started, and this is how it looks. The buttons and the mess inside of the settings is the same. One thing at a time, guys. The tabs on top have been replaced with the new tab system, which is similar to what we see here in the properties side, which, by the way, got a new improvement during the last week. Now you can click and drag to go and to see them, because before you couldn't. Before you had to click and then click again and again and again. Now you can click, hold, and drag. And the good thing is that Campbell made it so you don't have to drag in this area, but you can also just like be very lazy with the mouse, or if you're with the pen, you don't have to be exactly down there. You can just click, drag, and even move your mouse away, and it will still go. So that is pretty nice. So the user pref that I wanted to mention, it's in the input settings. Down here, there is this new panel that I don't know if you remember last week when I showed this feature. It was somewhere down here on the bottom left. During that week, it went from there to the top, where the selection is set, where the A toggle is set. If you miss it last week, that's that brings the 2.7 behavior of A key for selection and deselection, where it doesn't work as one function. It works as two functions depending on what you have selected. It deselects or selects whatever you have. So the other settings that I wanted to show you is the tab for pie menu and the extra shading pie menus. The tab for pie menu, this one is pretty simple. It brings the behavior of the pie menu from 2.7 for people that were used to it into 2.8. So tab would be always, when you have something selected with more than one mode, it will always enable the pie menu if you have this option selected, tab for pie menu. And control tab would be edit mode. So that way, control tab edit mode, and then tab always goes to the pie menu. It's a setting. You don't have to enable it by default. It's disabled. By default, tab is edit mode. So don't burn anything yet. Tab is still edit mode. Control tab is still the pie menu, but you can change the behavior here if you're used to it. Another option is that, I don't know if you noticed before when I was changing the shading types, is that there were a few too many options in the shading pie menu, this one that you press with set. The ideal situation would be to have 4 or maybe a few more, but not so many, not like here. This is a nightmare. This is not efficient. So the by default, the modes that were, I'm having a little bit of a trouble here. Okay, so the modes for toggling the overlays and the X-ray have been moved into a shortcut, a direct shortcut. So that's a good thing. If you want to disable the X-ray or enable it, is Alt Set. So X-ray because I was in render mode here. So Alt Set will enable and disable the transparent, the X-ray, basically the one where you can see behind your objects. So that is the Alt Set for X-ray, and for the overlays is Alt Shift Set. So we are going back to those shortcuts where you have to twist your fingers. So Alt Shift Set will twist that. But wait, if you want to have the previous behavior back, just click on extra shading pie menu items and you will have this very nice uneven pie menu, but at least it shows, I think it's fast. I think I personally will keep it enabled by default, the extra shading pie menus here. Then the spacebar still hasn't changed. It still has only options for toolbar and playback, but we want to add, well, I want to add, I would like to add, I want to keep kicking the developers nicely with cookies, just cookie poking people, to include the search again, or maybe a custom switch. Because I did a poll on I mean, I know we shouldn't be using polls for like these kind of things, but when I make a poll, this is not like a vote for the feature, by the way. This is just me trying to understand what people are using, just as a personal thing. Don't take it as a Blender thing. When I vote it in whatever, I mean, I don't have the opinions my own thing here on my Twitter, but it's really what I say here is my own opinion. Don't take it as a Blender official thing, please don't. So I ask here and I ask on YouTube on this channel, on Blender Today channel, and the search is being the most popular option. So apparently, not only everybody likes the search, maybe it's because they don't like change, yes, but also because not everybody's an animator. Not everybody is using the tools all the time. So it's a setting that we have to think and rethink and rethink and rethink. Everything covered with this? Yes. Local view curvature. Curvature, I just mentioned it, is here. It took a while, but Lucas Stockner brought it to life. So thank you, Lucas, and thank you Admind and Bill and William, and especially Admind that was that did the reviews here in the in this very long patch. Very loved, as you can see, all the hearts, the people super excited about it. And yeah, it's a great achievement, and it's great that it's actually back, and it's back. It was never here, but it's been for so long. Now, if you go to Blender, to right-click, select, and the website is probably down because you guys are awesome and you're going to it. So in this meantime, I'm gonna cheer for you. This is the last episode of the year. I'm using a Shuf because I was in Belgium this weekend. Completely unrelated news, but okay, the website is down, so so you're giving the Can I Get Blender community to work? No, it's probably too many people at the same time. So if that doesn't work, I'm gonna be answering questions from here, by the way. So at Blender Today. Themes is the topic. The last call for content that I did is we made a rough selection of the themes, and it's here in the last post. You can see it by Willem down here. This is like the first selection of them, but we're still picking them. There's still nothing written in stone. No, it's never written in stone. So yeah, this is a selection. We're planning also to just have a community inside of Blender community, the one that is down at the moment, to have it also host themes maybe at one point. So imagine having a community for sharing themes, the same way we have a community for the sequencer, NPR, or the different language ones. So that would be the idea. In the future, not so far from now, we're planning on doing it, work on it soon. So yes, if it's not selected, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. I really like this one because it looks like a flatty blueberry, and I also really like this one, the high, the bright one. So I'm even considering not including Blender Flatty Light, like the one that it comes by default now, and just including one more from the community. So in themes, not including this one, and maybe including the one from the community. What you guys think? Is there any love for Flatty Light? Give me an emoji here. Let's move on. The tabs, I mentioned the tabs. The tool system. Now the tool system, also there's a new shortcut. And speaking of shortcuts, I'm gonna show this one because it's super quick, but it's super awesome. There is now a dedicated shortcut to switch between the dope sheet, I know I say it wrong, and the other one, the graph editor. This one I can pronounce. So the when you're playing animation, when you're doing animation, you add a key, you come back, you add another key, and then you have to see the curves, right? If you want to polish back and forth. So up until now, there was no real way to switch between them easily. So you were here, you have to go to graph, or you'll usually have two, and then you will switch between them, or you will stack them up, you will have them like here, and then you will switch. But now, you see what I did? It's a shortcut. So Control Tab now swaps between two editors, two of the most used editors. So you can go back and forth, Control Tab here, move the keys, Control Tab, edit them, and it's all super fast in the same editor. So you can now go back and forth. Somebody assigned it to Z because it's like a X-ray mode-ish. I think Hjalti also has it on Z, Z key. So it's like changing between wireframe and solid, kind of speak. Maybe it could be set, but I think set is a bit confusing because it can also mean a an axis, right? So I'm not sure. Let me know what you think. Control Tab. I love this shortcut. If you have any other shortcuts, just mention them, like the ones that are super handy and hasn't been implemented yet. I'm really a big fan of this one. And the other shortcuts is for the toolbar, for the pop-up, is the when you're using the toolbar now, the shortcuts get assigned automatically from A to Z, all the numbers. So for example, when you have ones that don't have anything on any shortcut, they will be added here. For example, the transform is in the T, which by default is not, because by default it shows or hides the sidebar. But if you're in the tool, you're in the T, the ones that are not assigned and that are available, which basically every tool ever, is going to have a letter assigned if it doesn't have one. So that way you have quick access to all the tools. Do you like that one? Then another shortcut, it's well, one that hasn't changed much, but I made this change the other day and I'm still testing it. I just close Blender. Yeah, today I think you can close Blender very easily. You go from edit mode to sculpt or any weight or any painting mode, and it closes. Yeah, I just found this one today. It's probably gonna be fixed by tonight when you download the next build. But the shortcut that I really use a lot is the W for specials. In some cases, the specials menu has special settings. For example, if you have a lamp, you could press W and then you have a few options. So these options, energy, radius, for example, they used to be down here. So the settings will go from more general to more specific, which makes sense. But the problem that I had with it and why I changed it and why we're still testing it is that I find that it's more useful to have the specific shortcuts here. For example, energy, you can click on energy and then you just move your mouse and you just change the energy, or the radius, or basically anything. It's closer here. It also means that in object mode, the smooth shading is very close and it's at a shortcut at distance. One of the things that people ask the most is the to bring back the shortcut, or basically the tool here on the sidebar for smooth shading or flat shading. So yes, that is now in the menu. You can press W and it's up here, and it's always going to be S, smooth, because it's first. The problem that I had with these options being up here is that first the S will be in snap. And who does snapping with W and then snap? Almost no one. Everybody, I think the Shift S shortcut is very well known because it's been there forever. I mean, maybe it's still useful to have it here, maybe not. But I think it's more useful to have the smooth shading and the flat shading right here. So to do it fast, you can do WS for smooth and WF for flat. WS, WF, WS. Very easy. Or W1, W2. Because you know you can press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and each one of these items get a number assigned automatically. So yeah, where do we submit ideas for improvements into Blender 2.8? There is a I think on the Blender website there is a link to how to request new features, and basically the overall way of contributing to or asking for new features is basically first go to rightclickselect.com and you will find this awesome community of people contributing very nicely done proposals. So people are contributing, there's discussion, people can vote up and down. So there has been a lot of proposals, there is so many, and people you can sort them by recent, by rating. This one, spacing between the channels, this one I think is a great point. I never noticed how much, like how enormous is the room between the channels in Blender Sequencer compared to other editors. For example, in this case is the DaVinci. So this is an easy change, and it could be part of the UI paper cuts, which is also growing really fast, and people are adding their own new paper cuts. If you go to paper cut, you will find the thread where these little items are getting tackled one by one. So for example, the tooltips, hide the shortcut if no one is found. Yes, last week when you have a shortcut, when you have like a transform shortcut, that it didn't have an item that didn't have a shortcut, it would always show none. Now it doesn't. Just little things like that. The dragging, the moving, the dragging the properties, the size to radius, and the for example, the replacement of this with eyes. It's also one of the popovers. So pretty exciting. Did I mention? No, I didn't mention the popovers, but I talked about it last week. I think I covered everything that I wanted to show now. I'm going to jump into the questions, if you guys let me. A quick heads up before we change topic is that the Blender Cloud, there's a new interface when you're logged in, and when you're not logged in too, for viewing whatever is latest. So before, it will always show the blog post, the last blog post, and the latest asset will show on the sidebar. Now they always show in the front page, and you can even load more. So you can see all the crazy things these guys are doing, and it's spread by project. So you can also see the art gallery and the crazy blend files people and the community are submitting, and you can download these blend files, and these are for free for everyone. This is, when it says public, it means you can download even if you're not logged in. You don't have to be logged in. You can give this link to a friend, to a no friend, to your girlfriend, and download it. So let's move on. Small detour. All right, let's see if you guys let me ask any questions from here. Let's see. It's loading the comments. I should add a loader here. 42 comments, and it's episode 42, right? Yeah, no, 41. Oh, okay. Still, it's crazy. Let's move on. First question. Sinong says, please bring back the set origin menu. Wait, but the menu should still be there. The set origin, this one should be there. And also I noticed it should be here, set origin. Okay, this one in the W, it has to be changed. I will change it. Remind me, leave a comment please to remind me. I can look it up into tomorrow. But it's silly that it doesn't have, I think it's a bug that it doesn't have a thingy, that a pop-up to tell you. It should be the same as this. The same thing. Next, let's move on. Remember, you can also heart the questions that are not that are repeated, the ones that you like. We want to make it so it will always sort the ones with the heart first, so that way we can know which ones are them. And I think it's doing it, because this one, yeah, it is doing it. So thank you, Francesco, you did it. We were talking about doing it before the live stream, and now it seems to be, because this one was 8 minutes ago and it's one heart. No, it's 2 hearts. And then this one is awesome. Anyway, will Blender get a new retopology tool? Not anytime soon, besides the ones that are already there, and the poly build that it's also already there. Poly build, this one. So no, not for the time being, but it's the same as 2.7, basically, same status. If you don't use an add-on, but with the Blender comes with a few add-ons built in, and there is also the F2 add-on, which is no, it's not here, but it will be. So look up for the F2 add-on, it's free. What is the purpose of Blender developers? What is the meaning of life? Do you mean the Blender YouTube channel? The Blender YouTube channel for Blender developers is a place where we can share news in short videos like these ones, or I can make a call and everything in a more official way. This is official. Blender developers is official. Blender today is unofficial. I'm having a beer. I wouldn't be having a beer in an official YouTube channel. I maybe did it already, but I wouldn't do it because it's not a good message to say. There are children watching. Probably. Next question. What about UDIM for Blender 2.80? I think it did. If it didn't make it until now, if it has to be, I mean, we can, let's all poke. Yes, let's all poke Lucas and whoever has to be doing it. No, please don't do it. There's like 1,000 people being, no, please don't. Drop your mouse. Mice. But it would be amazing if you can do it, but it should be before before the release of the beta, sorry, for Wednesday. I wouldn't be so sure about that one. Otherwise, it's gonna be 281. What happened to the search in the space bar? It will be back, don't worry. I will eliminate Flatty Light. There's too many good things from the community. I agree with you. Here's a heart. There you go, there is a heart. Oh. The server is getting punched. So Forrest Gump says, can you ask to add for local view setting which toggle on and off while go into this view? On and off the zoom. It's another setting. I mean, it could be part of the operator, right? When you zoom in, that it could be like the red redo, and then I don't know. I kind of like that the zooms in, but yeah, it's a preference, I guess. But we have too many preferences, so maybe it could be an option of the operator, and then you save it. Next question. Any thoughts of Control-Shift? Click the navigation bar to open all sub-items. Would be great to see all settings. What do you mean? Control-Shift, click the navigation bar to open all the sub-items. The navigation bar. This nav bar. Or this nav bar. I don't know which one, sorry. Hello Pablo, hello Sansan. Is it possible to make a button to switch between rotating and moving the object and moving and rotating the pivot point? Yeah, I wouldn't call it a button, it's a switch. It's a feature that people have been asking forever. I think there's an add-on for it, but it should be built in. Basically, it's a way to toggle moving the object or moving the center point of the object. Yeah, it's a feature that people have been asking forever. So if it hasn't been done yet, I don't know. I'm not a developer, but sometimes I like to try things when I read them. If I'm reading on a thread on Blender, on right-click select, just looking and people asking for something that seems simple, I like to go into the code and change it. By the way, when I change the code for the Alpha 2, I should basically just Google. I search the code for Alpha 2 and then I change the version suffix. So yeah, this is hacking the code, but very lamely. And sometimes I try, and I bet there are developers that do the same, that they find something like a lot of people asking for a feature and then they just try it, but maybe it never makes it because yeah, it's not so easy. But if more people ask for it, then it should be a priority. Rex 1993 asks, do you know something of the Article 13 in the European Union? Will this affect Blender? No, it doesn't affect Blender as far as I know, right? Does it? No, Blender is software. and software for making anything. Shouldn't. But it's a topic that I haven't even done a lot of research, sorry. Is there a plan to make proportional editing range tablet friendly? Like making O key behave like F key for brushes. Oh, so with F you can make a so when you are in sculpt mode and you press F, then O, yeah, because O doesn't, you can't change the radius. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Maybe we can use a shortcut for that. Like, yeah, O toggles it on and off. Maybe Shift O could be for that. Shift O can change the, I would vote for that. What do you guys think? Shift O right now is this very handy pie menu to change the kind of proportional editing fall off. I would rather have this like going to the menu, but having the Shift O for changing the radius of the button. Basically this circle. Maybe. All right, next question. Bobin says, as I was suggesting, I'm reading also comments by the way, on YouTube, so keep them coming. But I'm gonna continue with this. Maybe it's the last episode. Maybe we can make it last longer. Maybe. Bobin says, as suggesting for local view, I would like to propose the behavior when entering local view that the lights have to be selected to become active only when selected, but have them not included in the zoom of local view. For the lights to have to be selected and become active only when selected. It's a very tricky way of asking. I'm not sure I follow, but have them not included in the zoom of local view. So basically, if the lamp is too far away, don't include them. No, I think it's good to see every object that is in local view, because the changes that you make there are affecting the objects outside. So not sure. Hi from France. Yes, last episode of the year. Doesn't mean you will be back streaming in 2019. Yes, I will be back. I will be streaming. I will continue with doing this. I don't know how I'm gonna live without doing this. It's gonna be weird to have my Mondays back. I will try. The reason why I'm not gonna continue streaming is when I'm going on holidays and because the internet's not really great there, and I'd rather not try and fail. I already tried it when I was doing the Spanish one, so maybe I can do some short videos, recorded videos. The one about compiling is I still have to do it, but I should look into it. But of course I'm gonna come back making Blender Today Season 2. Stay tuned for news. Can you explain how would you use light probes and essentially what they are? Light probes are a way. There is a term mainly used in real time, like video games. So in a ray tracer, when you enable, I don't know, reflections, something is reflective. It reflects everything. But in real time, it's not very effective to reflect everything. So what you do is have a limit, like reflect only one area, so that way you can bake the reflection, or you can calculate it in a smaller space. So for that you add, for example, like a reflection probe. If you want to calculate bouncing light, you like irradiance, caching, and bounces, and awesome lighting, like you can see it in the video. Oh, by the way, if you go to the 2.8 page, I updated today this page with the awesome video from Daniel Beisted. I put it there in the background. I'm testing how this is working, because I want to use videos as a background on the on the features pages of blender.org. So I was playing with this today and trying to make it work there, because it's awesome. If you haven't seen it, you are missing out. Stop whatever you're doing and come see the amazing way of this human being to use Blender 2.8. It's amazing. And yeah, in one point he also explains the reflections done no, so screen space, no, here, the monkey. So light probes, for example, here's a reflection cube map, so you can calculate a reflection, pre-calculate a reflection on a cube. So then you have the reflection plane, and also he's gonna show the other one for bouncing the lights. For example, irradiance bounce volume. This is done thanks to a irradiance volume light probe. So that way you can limit the bounces to one area and not everywhere. You like semi-bake the lighting, for so to speak. Let's continue. Not here. Beta. Thanks again for the videos. Thanks to you, Nicola. Has the behavior of set and shift set changed last week? Yes. It was very convenient to be able to hide overlays. Yeah, that is still there. And the same behavior, you can get it if you go to the input settings and enable extra shading pie menu items. I'm not completely like behind this change. I was happy when these settings were always there. I don't think it's scary for new users. I mean, new users stop being new users after a while, right? After 5 minutes. So I was actually pretty happy with this, and I think I'm gonna have it by default. But this is how you can keep it by default here, extra shading pie menus. So yeah, you see the changes by the UI team are not whatever the UI team wants. Is a for the greater good. Decisions for the greater good, thinking in everyone, not just what we like. Okay, Cambrana says, look at this problem at DevTalk. Remove doubles, custom split normals. Okay, I'm gonna leave it open here, but have to move with the questions. Will Eevee support video image sequences textures? Yes, it will. And I can't say a date, but yes. Do you know, oh, that's already questioned. Same question. When will Blender Python API be finalized? I'm excited for the plugins that will be developed for 2.8. The idea is that once the beta is out, so Wednesday, the API should be mostly finalized, but mostly finalized. So I would say just for the add-on makers, just wait a day or two and Wednesday start making your own. Hello from Cambridge. And have a great time in Argentina. Thank you. And Chile. I'm going to be in Chile. Letter to Santa. Will the object info or particle info nodes be implemented for Eevee during the beta? I think the object info is not far from there. Particle info, I'm not sure. But the beta, it's okay to bring things back from 2.7. So it's during the beta, it's also okay to like make little changes in the UI, but like fixing things mainly. And bringing things from 2.7 is also acceptable. So no problem with that. Alaska says, I know this should go in the UI paper cuts, but 2.8, the text color should be consistent. Everything should be a light gray, white, or dark, not a mix. Right now we have a mix. Timeline and Adobe Sheet, for example, has dark gray text. Okay, it's all about the theme changes, right? I tried to make it more consistent in a recent change. So if you go to load factory settings, it should be more consistent, but there are still changes that I read on the DevTalk forums. There is that, for example, the colors, the accent colors are not always the same. And I'm aware of that. Sometimes you need like a higher, more saturated version of it. But mainly it should be, I think now there are 4 different colors. Maybe we can have 3. But yeah, like the set color, like the Z color is not supposed to be the highlight color, of course. So that one doesn't count. But I will gonna have a look at it, and that can change during the beta. Little color fixes can change during the beta, so don't worry. More questions. Hirvi says, good evening. About spacebar, what the spacebar is going to do? We'll find out tomorrow. But I think it's gonna be either search or yeah, I can't say. We have to see, by the way. But also the beta, just let me zoom in here, do a dramatic zoom here. The beta is just a beta. everything that is being developed and up until this point is what we think could work best, thanks to the feedback from the community, from people at the studio, from everything and everywhere. But many things have changed, and not everybody can follow the development of Blender 2.8 during all these months, during the code quest, during the all this period. So the beta is a way to say to the world, hey, we are making things here, check it out, give us your feedback. So once this will attract a lot more people, and that people are going to have their opinions too. So it's likely to be changing during the beta as well, the workflow, especially the little, like, making things faster and more intuitive and more consistent. Don't think that whatever is now in the beta is going to stay like that forever until 2.80, 281, 82, 85. It's not. It's just a test to see what people are thinking. Betas. I was following the beta of DaVinci, for example, Resolve, and they had like 16 betas or something like that, more. And every one of them, they were changing things. So it's okay. It's okay to change things in the beta. We're all here trying to make the best Blender we can. It's not like it's written in stone that it's gonna stay like that. I'm gonna make a little pause here because I forgot one massive feature that I will be very sad if I finish the live streams without showing this. So this feature, it's part of the amazing grease pencil. So if you're familiar with grease pencil, you know they have layers, right? So they have animation. So the layers, each object has its own layers. So you have like internal layers, and for example, you can see that the layers, they sometimes they are shown, they're hidden, they show parts, they show like cleanup, for example, cleanup. And now, as of today, the layers can now be blended with each other. So there is a blend mode for layers where you can choose normal, overlay, add, subtract, multiply, and divide. This setting has not been it is new. It's not implemented yet. It looks like this is normal. Oh, it should always be there. No, actually it wasn't there. This, you can see now, you can change in this case the lines. You can make it work like an overlay, multiply to make it darker, divide, of course, and not just the typical ones. Add for adding, in this case is black, so it's not going to be adding anything. But if you use subtract, you're going to find something super interesting. It's basically transparency. So it means that you can for example, let's open the sketches. So it means that, for example, you can have a character and you can start unpainting stuff. So for example, I'm gonna add a new layer, a new layer, sorry, not a material, but a new layer. I'm gonna put it on top. It's already on top, and if I start drawing, I can basically just here. I see it, yes. Here, so I'm basically drawing, and I choose subtract. I'm basically removing part of my drawing. So imagine the possibilities. You can have something here in the back. I'm gonna make a copy because this doesn't. If we go back to object mode, so you see, you can basically mask out parts. It's amazing. Or you can color things. So you can have one layer that is for like the ink. The ink can be on top of it. So you can mask out the color in this case. For example, what I'm doing here is I'm having a layer that is only masking out from the color down. So you mask out the color and the ink stays on top. So you can do like decoloring or like watercolor paintings or crazy stuff. So pretty neat. So you can see here how it's blending. Awesome. All right, Let's continue with the questions. Blending mode for grease pencil. Thank you, Antonio. You're awesome. In time for the Blender beta. Can we make one or more animations and save the animation in one file and import it and use it in a new file? Yes, you can, by using actions. When you import, like F2 append, for actually appending the actions, you will find a folder when the blend file has actions that is called action, and you can import it. So that's how it works. It's a very basic feature. It's been there forever. Quick says, can you bring back the commit hash on builder.blender.org? I found it useful to see if I'm up to date. Yeah, good point. Good point. Yes, it's very simple to do. I can do it. I can do it very quickly. Yes. But remind me, please, if you find me, or if you have Twitter, or maybe leave a comment here on YouTube, but so I can read it tomorrow. Rex, will Blender get some new topology tool? I already asked that. Hello, why not adding a collection visibility on Control H or M shortcuts so you can fast change the visibility under the cursor location? Like this one, like the visibility of the collections, you mean? So something like this. Yeah, I mean, it's like a popover shortcut. Yeah. Why it seems on top of another H data? I don't understand the question. And what about region overlap in UV image? I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. Region overlap. Oh, like this one. So you can actually see behind. Yeah, that's not a lot of work. I mean, maybe it's even possible. No. But I mean, the way it's coded, it could be back. I know the region background is not region background alpha. Hey, region overlap. Hey, it's enabled. Oh my gosh, it's always been enabled. We just didn't make it transparent yet. It's a theme setting. All right, that's a new thing to change in the theme. Amazing. So now we all find out something. Thank you. I will give you a heart so I can remember later. Oh, not this one, this one. Hey, we're going to miss you. Hey, I'm gonna miss you too. You can record some offline videos like building Blender Q&A and some questions on Blender Today topic. Yeah, actually a Q&A I can do it, for sure. Bit too early, but in case you have no time, Feliz Navidad. Thank you. I will be traveling. I'm gonna go to the Torres del Paine. If you've seen it, I'm gonna try. Tom told me to have a selfie with a llama. I will try my best. I have a selfie with penguins, but not with llamas. I have to work on that. How can we make an OpenGL rendering? Well, from the view menu, render, viewport, or you can just change in the render settings. But those are very simple questions. You should ask them on the Blender Stack Exchange, stackexchange.com. Yes, there people are super eager to answer. Dennis, will you add the alpha channel for vertex painting? Yeah, that was asked before, and William said that it was implemented, but it wasn't great. So, but I think it was implemented. Thank you, Dennis. Joe says, "Hey, Pablo. Thank you for thumbs up in the chat. I'm checking. I'm trying to split my eyes in two and read both." Joe says, "Thanks for the great year of updates." Thank you. My favorite part of Mondays for sure. And information on like groups, like collections, like linking will be available in Eevee. Yes, but not for the time being. I'm not sure if that will be the way it will work for a time because Eevee is closer to cycles than to Blender Internal, but maybe it could work with like view layers. The plan is for cycles to get light linking at some point too, so maybe they should share the interface. How does it work in other software? I think I've seen Redshift on a presentation conference that basically it's a editor that you open and you say, okay, this light and you select which collection it's going to affect. I think fairly straightforward. Maybe we could make a mockup here and right click select. Very happy with the all changes in the last week. Yay, shader to RGB node is awesome. Yes. Just one drawback. It doesn't process screen space reflection. Is it possible to implement? Well, that's something maybe we can ask Clément. Yes, should be possible. Maybe ask this one in Dev Talk user feedback, because it's kind of user feedback, right? Ask that one there, and maybe tag Clément. He's the developer working on Eevee. Rex, cheers, Pablo. Cheers. Love Blender devs and this show. Thank you. Just wanted to ask, with beta coming out sometime soon, where can we check for 2.8 known bugs? Also, I see you can donate to the development fund without PayPal. Yes, you can now use bank transfer. Does that mean that your card needs to support subscriptions or something like that? No. It should be handled automatically, and you don't need PayPal at all. You can do it with just your credit card, and it will be charged automatically. Like, our system will take care of that, so your card doesn't have to support any kind of weird thing. But you can always email the development fund support at support@blender.org, I think it is. How can us non-developers contribute to making sculpt mode better? By making amazing demos like the developers, or for example here, like Bartek. He was pushing for this idea. It was on here on right click select since forever. If you search for curvature, you'll see that 171 likes. It's being pushed a lot. So this is one way, for example, to contribute to making not only sculpt mode, but in general Blender better. So, but if you're not a developer, you can also contribute by sharing brushes, for example, or like go to the Dev Talk and then propose things. For example, see here user feedback, say like, hey, the brushes in Blender could be better. So here I have a bunch of brushes that I did, and get the community to work together. For example, there is another here, this thread, I love it. Can we in collaboration produce a working suggestion for improving the UI of the sequencer? So basically, this user, Tuatin, it's being making changes to the menus for now, but also other parts of the Blender interface of the sequencer, and asking for feedback of other people, and just making changes together and improving. And it's being worked on a thread on GitHub, so anybody can do pull requests and they can be discussed. So basically the idea is to pull to polish the areas and the menus of the sequencer, and then at some point when it's ready, ask the community for feedback. Ask the community for feedback, and once it's really ready, put it in Blender. So to ease the discussion on the changes with the community. You could also do something like that with sculpting, and get in touch with users that are very active doing all kinds of sculpting stuff, like Julian Kaspar. He is super active in this. So for example, if I search for Julian, I will find it. So brush system for sculpt, you'll find it in the any thread that has to be with this, related to this, and also in the threads that are here in the user interface of the DevTalk forums. Users with experience, or Zacharias, for example. I know they're working on a document to improve the sculpt system, but also like a Bible of what it should be. And I think maybe one long document is not the best idea, but many little small documents that can be tackled more easily. More questions. Okay, it's already past 10 o'clock here. Let me answer 5 more questions and that will be it, I think. Gentil says, very happy. Oh yeah, this one we already have answered. The vector pass, I hope it will come back, but I'm not sure about that one. I can't talk about it because I'm not sure what the status is. How can non-devs here? How can we define our own unit systems based on the existing ones? It would be so useful for character building, and we could finally use Blender Guru's one-man Affleck measurement. I didn't get the reference, but it basically to tweak your own unit system. Well, Blender unit systems are like when you don't specify anything, it can be anything, so you're free to name it anything you want. Is Grease Pencil going to get official mesh conversion and not just letting us convert it to curve? Yes, eventually. I mean, you can convert it to mesh and then a curve, and from curve to mesh. So it's just an operator that runs 2 operators. Will it be possible to use optics denoising in the viewport? Yes, in the future, I think, but that's not the main goal. The main goal is for optics to be used for speeding up EV and cycles as well. Nathan Yellow Production says, when will Spring Team upload some more assets for Spring? I heard months ago when they said they would, but nothing has been added yet. There are only 3 asset files. Lame. I will ask the team again. If there is any Spring Team member here watching, you see, you guys are getting I mean, there's a lot of things going on at the Institute. There's lots of work to do, but the cloud is what pays the bills, so it should get the best attention. The things that are being uploaded at the moment, they're all the lighting test and all the renders that are being done. Preparing a blend file is it takes more time, because when you upload, you want something that is useful, right? So you spend more time in it. But you can see animation tests so far. That's pretty nice. I like this one. But yes, I agree with you. Yeah, there should be more assets of the Spring Team. You can also watch in the meantime the feedback sessions done by Hjalti to the animator. This is real feedback that is recorded by Hjalti and is given feedback to the animator that is working in the States completely remotely. It's like different time zone, different anything. So it's a real thing. He's the animation director, Hjalti, and it's giving feedback. So this is the way of how the production is being done. So I really like this. It feels very transparent because this is how they share feedback, by using Blender Cloud. And in the future, we want to make it even more that everything that we do, every weekly rendering that we do, that goes through the cloud, everything. So even here, the loops, the reference. All right. I said 5 questions. I think I won the 5th one. Let's load again. Oh, wow. Thank you very much, Martin. Happy Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, Martin. You didn't ask anything. Thank you. Oh, now I feel embarrassed. What can I say? How's my hair? Okay, more questions. 79 comments. Holy. Okay. I can do it. I was somewhere here. Non-devs. Oh, I was already. Oh, maybe there are answers to their own questions, or not. The ones are voted up here. No, because we inverted the sorting now. The older ones are first, and the first ones are the new ones are first. The older ones are last. Environment transparency in Eevee doesn't work. Report it when the beta is out. Hopefully Wednesday, it will go away. Beta, like the Sega sound. Will you improve the effects in Blender, like liquid and smoke seams? Yeah, with MantaFlow, that should be pretty much done. And hair, yes, hair with the new physics system, with the by changing the not the physics but the way interaction mode works. Brushes can now be shared through Blender Kit. I didn't know that. Will Blender internal render support GPU rendering 2.8? Blender internal is no longer with us. Cycle supports GPU. Blender Eevee is GPU basically. So yes. 2.8 when you're in orthographic mode. I think this okay, 2 more questions. When you're in orthographic mode, like numpad, for example, when I orbit out of ortho mode, it goes to perspective. This is not how it was. Yeah, that is a change. I'm not completely a big fan of that change, but you can make it back behavior, like the previous behavior. Just disable auto perspective here. Basically, it means that when you're in ortho and you rotate, you're still in ortho view. I'm not a big fan of this feature. Do you guys find it useful? The ortho auto perspective? Not a big fan. Would be nice to make a poll with every setting. I don't know, I'm a big fan of polls, just to see what people are using. But like every setting in the user preferences, just to see what people click. More questions. Does circle selection work with the UV editor by now? It didn't last week. It should, but select circle. Yeah. It's just the shortcut is not there, but circle select is here just as a tool for the time being, but the shortcut needs to be added. Another question. Best hour of my week. Thank you. Can you briefly explain the purpose of the yellow rectangle around the corner? Yellow rectangle around the corner. Which yellow rectangle? This one. These are icons of the different select tools. Or maybe I'm yellow rectangle. Huh. No, I can't think of the... Oh, this one up here. This one. It's just the icon of the active tool. Whatever you have active, you will see it. Yeah, it's a bit strange at the beginning, but it's just that. Now I can deselect by clicking nowhere. How happy I am with this. Oh, Master Sion! Hard Ops is almost ready. This message is brought to you by Boxcutter. Thank you. A little advertisement over there. Let's do some advertisement of the development fund as well, because it's Master Sion or the Hard Ops add-on people are also supporting the development fund. So in fund.blender.org you will find the sponsors, and among those there are here the hardops/boxcutter/teamc people, among others like Blender Nation, Blendtuts, and so on. Let's continue. Or am I running out of time? I'm all running out of time. So what's the new plans with the Blender Cloud for 2.8? Well, 2.8 is gonna be just good news, because we now have a full-time developer for the Blender Cloud for already a few months. That's why we have this awesome new listing. And the next level is going to be mixing Attract for shot management, with Flamenco for render management, with the thank you everyone, thank you, everybody's so nice. Okay, I get distracted. With Flamenco for rendering, and the video sequencer for cutting shots and everything. We already have some crazy ideas that what if from the video sequencer you could see which shot is the next and the after, but reflected on the web. So you can click and go to the web, see the videos and the assets that are linked to that, all from the web. That will be amazing. And that's some of the ideas what we have for using the Blender sequencer with the cloud, Blender Cloud. Thank you, Sam. Will ever, okay, now it's a real question. Will Eevee ever get ray trace lighting with rasterized materials? Also, the perspective is my favorite. Oh, okay, so you like this option. Will ever get ray traced lighting with rasterized materials? I think once ray tracing gets more supported, but I wouldn't bet on it in the short term. But ray trace lighting, I guess, at some point. But for the time being, the focus for Eevee is to have speed and to be fast and to be furious as it is right now. So thank you again, Sam, for your contribution to make Blender a better place. Maybe if we get enough, we can get a better server for Blender today, so right click select doesn't keep falling down every time. Okay, I think does Eevee support caustics? No, not at the time, not for the time being. Array modifier for lamps too. That would be good. I would use duplies for that instead. So in 2.7 at least, you could basically just take a lamp and parent it to an object, and then in that object you could do duplies with the object settings with this new cube icon. Not a big fan. Duplications, faces, and there you go. This is, I don't know if this works with Eevee though. Does it? Let's see. Oh yeah, it does work. Let's see. Yeah, it does work. Huh. You see? Who needs arrays? Where we're going, we don't need arrays. We just need duplies. Look, amazing. Anyway, somebody was giving again, Gatung, thank you so much for what you do. Gatung, like a cat, like a cat. You guys are just too good. Thank you, thank you. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. I will have to leave now, otherwise you guys will keep throwing money at Blender today, and it's just too much for me. So I will go away, and I hope you didn't think I was pulling your leg, or I was playing, being funny or something when I named this video the beta. But my point was also, when I changed the name of the here to be Blender today, is the point is that the beta is always among us. It's always being updated. So beta is just a label, just a way for people doing documentation, tutorials, and the add-ons to start making their own add-ons. But they can also do it right now. Some things will change. Today, the Workbench engine was renamed to the OpenGL engine was renamed to Workbench. Thank you, Solvik. Thank you so much for being awesome. I'm just, my heart will burn in warmth. But yeah, basically that. The beta is always with us. When the beta comes out, it will be nothing more than just a link in the download page. Is gonna show up here. You're gonna click and it's gonna go here to experimental. Thank you, Gustavo Rosa. Thank you. Thank you, Jordan Waka. Christmas beer for you. Thank you, everyone. Jeez, guys, I'm gonna flash. Anyway, the beta will be here. It will be constantly available. There won't be like a one version. It will be constantly being updated every day, just like it's doing right now. So then don't stop tasting it. Don't stop complaining. If there is something that you don't like, please complain. It's okay to complain. Just make it nice. People hear more when the complaints are in a good mood. It's like, I love what your guys are doing, but if this could change, instead of Blender sucks, because it just there's a lot of volunteers out there that are putting their own time, their evenings, instead of spending time with their kids or family, they're also spending it here because Blender is like their baby. So they're doing it. We're all doing it, and you're part of it because you're here. You made it to the end of this episode of just 1 hour of nerding on Blender. I don't want to leave because, okay, thank you again, Yuri. Thank you for the live stream. So see you in 2019. See you again. See you. Thank you, River Fate. My tunes are rendering in Eevee. Please share them. Hashtag B3D, hashtag B2D if you do 2D animation with Blender. And I will also Twitter, go to Twitter Blender Today and hashtag at Blender Today. So I retweet them. I retweet everything that I find that is cool with Blender. Please, tweet at me and I will be retweeting like this thing. Awesome. I just retweet awesome stuff. Enough. I will see you again. Who knows? Maybe next year. Maybe we can do a last one before the beta comes out. If you're wearing headphones, please put them out or lower the volume because you're going to get blown with this music. Yes. Holy. Oh. Master Sion, thank you so much. Okay. That's a bit. Okay. It's a bit too much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna run out of music. Guild theme 10 hours. This is the music that I'm using. So I'm gonna put it on. Thank you, everyone. I will see you again in the next episode, 2019, maybe before. I will try and keep it up as long as possible. And this deserves another play. 1, 2. Yes. Ciao, ciao. Otherwise, I never leave. Thank you, everyone. You're being amazing. I can't believe I started this channel in January and we're already almost 10,000 people that love Blender and continue. Okay, I will go because you keep throwing.